behind the cage. Fiegel tries to come around with the left hand, and it goes wide. Out on the far side of the field, it'll be Wasserman, 77, bringing it in up against Medgalchi, the close defender for the Tigers.
Monmouth out shooting the Tigers here in the first half of the first quarter, 10-4.
And so far, so good for Blaisdell in goal, seeing it well.
Here's Jake Wilson, matched up against Bauer. The Tigers slide off him. He gets picked up by Chase Williams. A lot of depth in that defensive midfield for the Tigers here in 2018. Dancing behind the cage for the Hawks, Griffin Fiegel, the junior from Basking Ridge, New Jersey, the lone junior captain for the Hawks. Fiegel carries above goal line extended. Blaisdell sticks it aside. Wasserman back over the top of the cage, and we get a whistle.
I'm going to say Monmouth was in the crease but was pushed in, so they'll retain possession.
Still waiting for the first goal of this one. The Tigers last year the second highest scoring team in the country, as we have a whistle and Monmouth turns it over.
And for Princeton, you talk about the shot totals thus far. Princeton just hasn't had a lot of possession in the first quarter. They'll look to improve on that with the clear here. It looks like it's going to start with Winshew near the sideline. He'll look to clear.
Winshew sends it back to Tyler Blaisdell. Just under 6 minutes remaining. No score first quarter. Opening day for both of these teams. JT Caputo, the senior, dodging up the far sideline. He'll clear it in. Chris Brown, the freshman, carrying it back behind the cage to our left. He'll pass it off Philip Robertson. And the Tigers settling it down on offense. Just 4 shots so far for the Tigers. Riley Thompson back in to join the fray. Michael Sowers and Austin Sims may not step off the field the entire season.
Now 22 and 18 have so much skill on the offensive side of the ball. Again, Sims, you have to keep a stick right on him, any space, and he'll let it go.
No score. Brown jostled up by the restraining line. High pass, too high for the 6'4" sophomore McCarthy. He's in position along the near sideline. 3 white jerseys, one of them shoved down to the ground, and it's Monmouth coming away with possession. Garrett Pfeiffer, the All-MAC defender.
There's man-ball situations, and then there's the hit that Dylan Smart just laid out on that ground ball. He said, "I got man," and someone else scooped up the ball. Great job by Monmouth communicating and getting that ground ball in the Princeton offensive territory, and an easy clear for the Hawks as well.
Second caused turnover today by the Hawks, 3rd time overall. The Tigers have put the ball down on the turf. Monmouth looking to crack the goose eggs here with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. Overcast skies, a little bit chilly, a little bit breezy, but not a bad day here in mid-February. Wasserman draws the sophomore Medgalchi, puts a move on him, fires, misses wide right. Foot raised forward, it trickles out of bounds. Fiegel, the man closest to it for the Hawks.
Yeah, not quite cold enough for the temperature to really play a part in this game. If game 1 of the season doesn't get the adrenaline up enough to survive the mid-30s.
(12-4), the shot advantage for Monmouth here in the first quarter with time winding down. Aaron pass, foot raised forward with a leg up is Dylan Schulte, who corrals it in front of the Princeton bench. Sun trying to break through the clouds. Here's Schulte carrying in, jostled by the short stick junior Marine. Limited last year due to injury. Monmouth controlling pace here in the first quarter, wearing navy tops, navy bottoms, and the white helmets. Working in the cage down to our right. Tyler Blaisdell's been solid so far today. Wasserman takes the pass behind the cage, one-on-one against Medgalchi. Carries it above goal line, extended high pass, back out to the line. Schulte bumped from behind by Marine. Had the stick cocked back, and instead he'll carry it out with 3 minutes to go in a scoreless first quarter.
Nice job. Short stick defense by Mike Marine, keeping Monmouth in check, not allowing that shot to get off from the low angle. Monmouth will restart.
For the first time today, we see number 43 out there for the Princeton Tigers, sophomore Jasper Arnold. Short stick defensive midfielder. They have 4 or 5 that we'll see in the rotation out there. Wasserman has him hung up. He's going to carry topside. Medgalchi picks him up. He'll turn. Blaisdell stick save. The putback goes wide, and it'll stay with the Hawks.
Monmouth has a green light mentality, Cody. Not afraid to let it fly, and why not when you're 3 feet from the cage?
2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. It's been an exciting first quarter. A shin save by Blaisdell. Arnold has it, and now the Tigers will look to clear.
Again, great job by Blaisdell staying active. That time a kick save, and that could be a push from the behind, and it looks like that will be the call, but Sims picks it up for Princeton.
All 3 flags coming in. Sims then has it jostled out. The netminder for Monmouth. Lodi comes out, scoops it up, will get the whistle, and the Tigers will go man up for the first time this season with 1:59 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, first look at the man up unit for 2018, at least for game 1. And Sims and Sowers, as you said, certainly a part of those 6. They're joined by Chris Brown and
Connor
Riley
McCarthy.
Thompson as well. Connor McCarthy up there. McCarthy, 6'4", 200 pounds. I mean, that's a big player out there. He can certainly get some pace on his shots. It'll be interesting to see what they draw up from an X's and O's standpoint, see if it's similar to what they ran last year.
Tigers last year, the top man-up unit in the Ivy League, 9th best in all of Division I lacrosse, just a shade above 46%. Hidden ball trick. Thompson sets up Sims. He has a shot blocked for the 2nd time today, but it stays with the Tigers. Back up top, McCarthy winds, fires. His shot deflected out of bounds.
And Monmouth doing a nice job off the scouting report. Austin Sims doesn't move a ton when he gets that ball in that position on the man up and put a body in front of it, and Austin Sims hasn't had a shot get through the defense. Back
at even strength. There's a shot out in front and a goal for the Tigers, first of the season, and it comes from Dawson McKenzie right as the penalty expired. 1-0 Tigers.
Great tic-tac-toe passing by the Tigers on that man-up opportunity, and it ends up with McKenzie right on the doorstep with the quick stick, and the Tigers go up 1-0 in the first quarter of the first game of the 2018 campaign.
Dawson McKenzie running on that second midfield line. He's been a part of the Tigers' man-up unit the past couple of seasons, and then last year when Austin Sims missed some time with an injury, he was on that first midfield line. 9 goals to go along with 3 assists over 15 games last year for the junior from Ontario. And his first here in 2018 makes it 1-0 Tigers. Back at the face-off X, we have a hold, and it'll be possession Princeton. That was against the face-off man, Keegan Teluk for Monmouth.
And a quick restart for Princeton as they get it into the stick of Chris Brown, the freshman.
Big freshman, 6'2", 200 pounds, out of Fairfield Prep up in Connecticut.
Yeah, Fairfield Prep, a couple of notable Princeton alums. John Cunningham, class of 2011.
Tigers working it out in the midfield. Final minute in the first quarter, trying to tack on to a 1-0 lead. Sowers quiet today. Carries it above goal line extended, draws the slide, and then he'll back it out. Passes it behind the cage. McCarthy, actually that's Brown, raising the right arm and calling it out, and now giving it back to Sowers, who quarterbacks the offense with 35 seconds to go.
And setting up the dodge for Sowers, using the left hand.
Sowers has had 2 blue jerseys on him every time he's tried to climb above goal line extended today. He'll curl back. Dancing at X, scouting it out, 25 seconds to go in the first. Out in front, there's an easy tally, Philip Robertson. 2-0 Tigers with 20 seconds to go. We weren't sure who would be alongside Michael Sowers on attack. We do know they're going to have a chance to put up some good numbers.
They certainly are, and Sowers attracts so much attention behind the goal that it's almost hard as a defender to not get caught ball watching. And ball watching is one of the first things they tell you when you start playing defense as a kid. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eye on the ball and the man you're supposed to cover. But it's so hard to do that when there's the expectation that you need to slide early to a playmaker like number 22, Michael Sowers, and you see what happens. Players can camp out on the crease when they catch their defender ball watching, and Sowers is one of the best at the nation in finding those seams.
Back to the face-off X with 20 seconds to go. Bonafide kicking it towards the near sideline. Ball still loose. Marine jostling forward. Song is out there, the freshman. And Andrew Song finally able to scoop it up with 8 seconds to go, sending it back to Medgalchi. Medgalchi fires it back up to Marine on the far sideline as time expires. In the first quarter, good one for the Tigers. Goals by McKenzie and Robertson. Couple of early assists by the third-team All-American from a year ago, Michael Sowers. And at the end of the first, it's Princeton with an early 2-0 lead.
Great execution by the Tigers, actually following through, getting the ball in the back of the cage, but Monmouth doing a great job of getting possession and letting shots fly. If it weren't for a couple of athletic saves by Tyler Blaisdell, this is a tie game, if not a Monmouth lead. So for Princeton, it's about turning the ball over on the defensive half of the field and getting it back to Sowers, who seems to be drawing a lot of attention, as we expected.
First quarter in the books, Princeton leading Monmouth 2-0. We're back after this on the Princeton IMG Sports Network and the Ivy League Network.
Joint implants customized to match your unique anatomy. Advanced technology for precise navigation. And the only hospital in the capital region with Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery for increased accuracy and shorter recoveries. Make a difference in your knees, your hips, your life. RWJ Hamilton. Let's be healthy together.
2-0 Tigers. Early goals in the first by Dawson McKenzie and Philip Robertson, the junior and the sophomore, both set up by Michael Sowers, and a good first quarter for Tyler Blaisdell, the senior, starting for the 35th consecutive day for the Tigers. 5 saves on 5 shots faced in that first quarter.
And a great job. He's seeing the ball well, but he's really staying active, staying on his toes, and making athletic saves. We saw a kick save, a save with the body, and a stick save. So that's really the whole gamut as far as goaltending. So Tyler Blaisdell showed up to play in game number 1.
One of the storylines, one of the questions going into the season, who would take face-offs and would they be successful? So far, so good for Sam Bonafide and the Tigers. Bonafide, the senior, has won all 3 today against fellow senior Keegan Teluk. Teluk 2 years ago was Monmouth's primary face-off specialist, and then last year took a back seat to the MAC Rookie of the Year, Justin Schwenk. Won 52%, took almost 90% of the face-offs last year for the Hawks. He's now a Virginia Cavalier, so they turn back to Teluk here on opening day.
And you see the importance that coaching staffs and programs are putting on the face-off X. It's become such a specialized position in the game and such an important position in the game. You can have the best offense in the world, but if you can't get them the ball, what good is it?
Monmouth comes away with their first. Dylan Smart playing on that far wing, scoops it up, and the Hawks will try to chip away at this early 2-0 deficit in a game that was low-scoring early on. It has been low-scoring.
And Monmouth, no need to change anything. It's all about just getting those shots to drop and get it past Blaisdell. The volume of shots is there, the ball movement's there, and the off-ball cuts are there. It's all about executing and finding a way to beat Blaisdell.
Through 13.5 minutes, this game was scoreless, and then Dawson McKenzie, a man-up tally right after the penalty expired at the 1:24 mark in the first. And then just over a minute after that, it was Sowers setting up Philip Robertson. Monmouth looking for their first goal. Big hit from behind. A late flag flies. Ball goes out of bounds, but the Hawks will go man up. Pretty blatant foul that time by the Tigers.
And it's a great job in drawing that penalty, because you're going to take the shot, so you turn your back and shoot with your left hand, and the defender really has already committed to the hit. So when you turn your back, you're almost guaranteeing that that yellow flag is going to fly into the air. If the shot drops, that's great. If it doesn't, as it didn't, doesn't matter. The Hawks retain possession.
Completely different personnel out there for the Hawks and a much different look for the Tigers. Last year, Princeton, second in the Ivy League, 10th best in Division I on the man-down defense. And the Hawks last year, middle of the pack in Division I, 35% man-up scoring.
Well, when you look out there at Princeton, you see a lot of size on defense, and that goes from long sticks to short sticks, including number 3, Chase Williams, who we know from the Princeton football team. He's a physical player out there.
Yeah, Williams not the biggest guy, but we know he likes to lay some hits. We've seen it on the football field as the shot goes wide.
But 6'1", 205 on the lacrosse field. That's a big guy.
Winshew's out there, Roberts is out there. They both stand 6'4". Medgalchi's out there, and then Tarry at the top of the defensive formation. Penalty expires, pass out in front, knocked away by Winshew. Ball is loose in front of the Princeton cage, and Blaisdell has it himself. Quick outlet, top sideline. Caputo as the Tigers looking to run.
Great job by Caputo doing it himself, runs it over midfield and gets it over to Robertson. Now Sowers behind the cage.
Princeton scored on their lone man-up opportunity with about 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, and then Monmouth not able to capitalize on their first man-up opportunity here early in the second quarter. Tigers working at the cage to a right, defended by the 6-foot freshman from Maryland, Noah Lodi, out of Queen Anne's County High School, playing and starting in his first career college game. Sims, they slide on him as he casually carries it across the top of the box and now below goal line extended. One-on-one matchup against the short stick. This is a good matchup for the Tigers. Sims carries it back above, nothing doing, so swings it up to the line. Here's Chris Brown. They invert the attack man, playing at the top. Out in front, Robertson turns, fires, and scores. 3-0 Tigers early in the second.
And the sophomore having himself a day in the first half of this game, and it's all about off-ball cuts and vision. The pass was there, and Robertson does a nice job of turning around, knowing where he is on the field, knowing where the goal is, and finding the back of the net. And, you know, when you talk about drawing attention, there's Sowers behind the cage, and then you have Austin Sims up top, who you can't give a lot of space to. Austin Sims projected to be one of the top, if not the top pick in the Major League Lacrosse draft. You're talking about someone whose skill set is going to translate really well to the next level, and a lot of that comes from his ability to just fire it from long range.
Austin Sims last year, 2 games with 6 goals each against Johns Hopkins and Quinnipiac, and this is a player who, as a freshman, was one of the Tigers' top defensive midfielders.
Yeah, and Sims last year against Hopkins, you know, a nationally televised game, that was where everyone saw what Austin Sims could do. He just could not miss that day.
First face-off violation whistled against Bonafide and the Tigers. Awards possession to the Hawks, looking to get on the scoreboard with 3 minutes gone by in the second quarter.
Wasserman does a really nice job of dodging with his head up. He's already a tall player, and when you dodge with your head up combined with the height, you really get great vision and are able to really survey the field.
Medgalchi playing defense, basically leaning into him and forcing him away from the crease. He's forced to give it up as Monmouth swings it back out to the midfield with Bloodgood. 3-0 Tigers, 11:40 to go. Shot rings in high, backed up by the Hawks. Came in from Dan Bloodgood, the midfielder. Redshirt senior from Jackson, New Jersey. He's a redshirt senior. This is Monmouth's 5th year, so one of the few players on the rosters who's been there from the beginning. Rudy Beck, the freshman midfielder. First time we've called his name.
Beck with a great dodge from up top.
Tough angle. Shot rings wide by Dylan Schulte. Backed up by Hunter Jones. It'll stay with the Hawks.
Talk about some of the New Jersey natives on the Monmouth sideline, but really great geographical distribution of recruits and players for the Monmouth Hawks. A beautiful campus near the Jersey Shore.
For Monmouth, 19 shots, still looking for their first goal. Here's a shot, save made by Blaisdell. They went stick side with a lot of velocity behind it, did Dylan Schulte. Make it 20 shots, still looking for their first.
You know, for Monmouth, again, you don't change what you're doing. The volume's there. They're the right shots, but Blaisdell playing really, really well today.
Outshooting Princeton today 20-9. Monmouth has won both face-offs here in the second quarter. Princeton trying to clear. Blaisdell feathers the pass to Sims, lowers his shoulder, cuts across midfield. Not in time, though. The Tigers turn it over. Second time today, Princeton's failed to clear it.
Yeah, and the ball goes right back to Monmouth. And the Princeton defense playing a lot right now, and eventually you get tired.
Here's Wasserman, one-on-one with Medgalchi. Winshew slides over on him, and he'll pass it back out to the midfield with just over 10 minutes to go.
Medgalchi doing a great job matching up stick for stick, but also body for body with Wasserman. A great balance of throwing checks, but also matching up physically.
3-0 Tigers, 2 goals late in the first quarter, 1 early here in the second quarter. Monmouth, no urgency. Still a ton of lacrosse to be played here today. Shot on the run and an easy save for Tyler Blaisdell. That was Jake Wilson as he took a tumble.
And when you have a goalie playing as well as Blaisdell, to get past him the first time, it's probably not going to be from 20 yards. You're going to have to get an easy one to gain confidence as an offense.
Tigers turn it over again on the far sideline, and now Monmouth pushing from right to left with numbers. Here's the pole, hits the post. Chris Arvada, the freshman, making his first start, hit the near side post. Tigers catch a break, and then we have a whistle against Princeton.
Looks like Williams may have been playing without a stick.
I saw a stick go flying. That was Chase Williams.
Blaisdell needed a little help from the post that time, but he got it. And Monmouth still scoreless, 3-0 Tigers. Just under 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Chris Hervada getting the start, the true freshman starting on defense. He was trying to go coast to coast that time with the pole.
You got to look at Wasserman here, second leading scorer from a year ago, to get them on the board.
16-game point streak for Wasserman, one shy of Monmouth's career record, and that's kicked aside by Blaisdell. Long carom trickling towards the far sideline. Roberts picks it up and then carries it out of bounds, so it'll go right back to the Hawks.
And Monmouth keep putting the foot on the gas pedal, keep tiring the Princeton defense, and keep shooting. One's going to drop, but that time Wasserman wasn't expecting the pass. It goes right over him, and Princeton will take it in. Unforced turnover, and Princeton will look to clear after the defense just played a lot of consecutive minutes on their half of the field.
Fourth turnover for Monmouth, 6 for the Tigers. Not completely unexpected, as this is the season opener for both teams. Tigers clear it in, and then Matt Madelon will take a timeout.
And a good timeout by Matt Madelon, not only to set up the X's and O's on the offensive side of the ball, but also to give the defense a rest. And Madelon coaching up the defense right now as they hit the sideline, and it'll be 6-on-6 lacrosse when we come out of the timeout, and Princeton will draw up their best play to try and take a 4-0 lead.
Winberry's Restaurant and Bar has been a local Princeton favorite for over 30 years. Local families have made Winberry's their neighborhood restaurant, while college students and theater goers gather for happy hour and the late night menu. Winberry's offers a traditional American fare of high-quality, simple meals with attentive service in a neighborhood location. Open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Visit princeton.winberries.com to check out their happy hour specials. Well, Dave and I will have the full look around the Ivy League as well as the Hampton Inn out-of-town scoreboard coming up at halftime. The big game of the day involving an Ivy League team is nowhere near an Ivy League campus down in Frisco, Texas. Yale, number 5 in the country, taking on number 15 Villanova. That's at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. What do they call it? Jerry's World Junior?
There's a lot of Jerry's Worlds down there. I've been to the big one. I've been to the stadium. It's a tremendous place, but I've heard the practice facility is absolutely terrific as well.
Yale trailing Villanova late in the first quarter, 2-1 in that one. Other Ivy League action, it's Penn leading Michigan 9-8 in the third quarter. Kind of interesting with the Ivy League, the consensus preseason favorite, the Yale Bulldogs. They have won the league tournament the last 3 years. They went to the NCAA tournament last year, ranked 5th to open this season. They're the consensus number 1, and then depending on which poll you look at, who you ask, who you talk to, Princeton, Brown, Penn, Cornell, sort of on the outskirts of the top 20, all could make a run towards Yale and make a run into the Ivy League tournament if things break the right way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one of the games that I just find really interesting is Penn, Michigan. Obviously, we know Penn. We want to see what they're all about in terms of Ivy League play. But Michigan, a new coach, great facilities, and a Big Ten program with high hopes, and we'll see how they come out this season as well.
Princeton coming out of their first time out with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. 3-0 Tigers on top. 3 goals, 1 by McKenzie, 2 by Robertson. Brown, the freshman, trying to lower his shoulder and force his way towards the crease. Chandler Vanderbeek not giving up any room, but they set up Robertson, and the Tigers score again to make it 4-0.
Wow, Brown not playing like a freshman. Those were veteran moves, drives with the left hand, gets pushed away, but tries again, rolls inside, finds his way right in front of the cage, and is able to finish with that left hand. And very impressive debut for Chris Brown.
Said Robertson, that was Brown, the freshman. Not a bad debut for him. You have sophomore Michael Sowers, sophomore Philip Robertson, freshman Chris Brown, 3 under tackmen on attack.
Yeah, and there's no tape on Chris Brown. You can watch all the Princeton games you want from 2017, and you're not going to see any Chris Brown. So this is college lacrosse's first look at number 6.
Big face-off here, 4-0 Tigers, midway point of the second quarter. It's Monmouth coming out with it cleanly. Dylan Schulte coming off the wing. He'll feed the pass inside, and then we have a whistle.
Wow, a timeout by Monmouth when they had a wide-open shot, one of the better opportunities they've had. We're talking about them trying to get the right shot to beat Blaisdell, and that's right where you'd like it.
First time they've really won the face-off cleanly and set up a settled opportunity on attack right off the draw. 7:29 to go, down 4-0. Brian Fisher will huddle his team up. Monmouth near sideline down to our left. Princeton near sideline down to our right. Kind of remarkable what Brian Fisher has been able to do. He came from Notre Dame, 6 seasons as an assistant, but played his college lacrosse right up the road at Rutgers, was a face-off specialist and a midfielder, and then Monmouth kind of trending in the right direction. You look at what they've done. 2014, their first season, winless. 6 wins in 2015, 7 wins in 2016. They doubled that last year. Undefeated in the MAC, 6-0 in regular season play. And they go to the NCAA tournament, fall in a heartbreaker to Bryant in the NCAA play-in game, but in your 4th year as a Division I program to go 14-4 and win every game in conference play, pretty remarkable.
Remarkable and impressive. There's a lot of superlatives to describe it, but what's not to like about the Monmouth program? A beautiful campus, a coaching staff that's obviously got the program trending in the right direction, and it's in a great location for lacrosse. Plenty of programs right in the area to choose from with a wealth of talent. But then I was talking about it earlier. You look up and down the roster. You see Texas, you see Pennsylvania, you see Maryland, you see Canada, and you know that they're out there putting the feelers out across the lacrosse landscape, and Monmouth turning into a place where players want to be.
Shots favoring Monmouth heavily, 23-10, but the scoreboard says otherwise. Princeton 4, Monmouth nothing, midway point of the second quarter. Out of the Monmouth timeout, they'll settle it up on the attacking end down to our left. Can't say enough good things about what Tyler Blaisdell's done today. He has faced 8 shots. He's turned them all aside. Did get help one time from the left post. Carrying in for the Hawks from the midfield, Dylan Schulte passes it off. Wasserman, the senior from Southlake, Texas. Gets above goal line, extended, and gets Monmouth on the scoreboard with a bouncer from 10 yards out on the run.
You rely on your veterans at certain points, and in a time like this where you've had the shots and you just haven't been able to beat the goalie, it's 77 that breaks the goose egg, and Monmouth gets on the board now 4-1 in favor of the Tigers. But there's something about getting a goal to drop, and sometimes it leads to momentum on the offensive end.
Bryce Wasserman last year led the Hawks in scoring, 29 goals plus 16 assists, earned him first-team All-MAC honors. That goal extending his point streak to 17 straight games, and that also ties him with Chris Daly atop the career scoring list. Granted, it's only a 5-year-old program, but still prolific over the last 4 years for Wasserman. We get a whistle, face-off violation against Monmouth once again, and that'll put the Tigers back on attack. 7 minutes to go, a 3-goal game. Monmouth cracking the goose egg. It's 4-1. Philip Robertson, 2 of the first 4 goals for the Tigers. Brown has 1. McKenzie has the other. Here's McCarthy, dodges past his man, finds Sowers, and he has him hung up.
McCarthy, wow, with a quick first step.
Out in front, they set up Sims and just didn't get a lot of velocity on the shot from the doorstep. Tigers turn it over.
That's what you want. Sowers behind the cage, no pressure, and just he and his vision alone surveying the field more often than not, it'll end in a goal opportunity, and it did that time, but Sims unable to finish as Monmouth slows it down on the offensive end. They pick up the ground ball, and they'll start over.
Yeah, the Hawks pushing it aggressively. They almost threw it out of bounds. It was saved along the end line down to our left, and now Monmouth will settle it down again, trying to pick up their second goal. Burst of speed around the near side. Fagel tried to curl back in, instead passes it near side. Bloodgood. One-on-one against the short stick, Williams. They'll leave it off top side for Schulte. Now back below the goal line. Hunter Jones switching places behind the cage with Wasserman. Short stick matchup, and that one, I believe, hit the crossbar. Carrying towards the top sideline. It'll stay with the Hawks. That either got the crossbar or Blaisdell got just enough to deflect it.
I think it was the crossbar just based on the bounce that it got. But Monmouth able to track it down and back the shot up on the sideline.
25-11 shots favoring the Hawks. Wasserman tried a rough angle. Can't get it to go, but flags fly as he was shoved down late. Ball out of bounds. Monmouth will go man up for the second time today, as this will be on against Aaron Roberts.
Yeah, after Wasserman let the shot go, he kind of continued to the middle of the field, and Aaron Roberts had a full head of steam coming right at him and unable to pull up on the hit, and it was late, and Monmouth will go up. And it's going to be unnecessary or a high hit for 1 minute.
Monmouth 0 for 1 with the extra man today. They were third in the MAC last year, just a shade above 35%, although they only have 3 starters back from that team. Wasserman is one of them. Eamon Campbell, their second leading returning scorer, out today with an injury.
So now we see man-up unit for the Hawks.
Trying to chip into this 4-1 deficit with just over 5 minutes to go in the first half. Wasserman comes out of the top of the formation. Gives it up, gets it back. Here's Fagel, pass down low, near side, off the stick of Phillips. Ball on the ground, Blaisdell ranging back behind the cage, knocks it out of bounds. It'll stay with the Hawks.
And Monmouth moving the ball well, keeping their heads up, looking for the right shot. Wasserman tries the short bouncer, and it goes over the cage, but the Hawks back it up.
27 shots today for the Hawks here in the first half.
Wow.
20 seconds left on the extra man. They're 0 for 1 so far today. Little bit of space, a bouncer kicked aside by Blaisdell. That was out of the stick of Gordon Phillips.
Blaisdell's cleats might have a hole in them at the end of this game. A couple kick saves in the first half.
Gordon Phillips, normally a long stick midfielder, out there with the short stick on the man up. 10 seconds to go. Out in front, some traffic. It gets through to Blaisdell, and he'll make the stop. Outlet pass, Bauer cuts it back middle. The Tigers killing off their second penalty today.
Nice job by the man-down defense of the Princeton Tigers, really staying in control. Not lunging at any passes and staying within themselves, and that conservative approach ended with no goal for Monmouth on that man-up attempt as they reset in the Tiger half as they move it to Thompson, but it's picked off. Great vision by the Monmouth short stick defender.
McCarthy's pass intercepted. That's Chandler Vanderbeek. Has a brother on the team as well. Wasserman shot sticked aside by Blaisdell.
Wasserman would love to have that back. Blaisdell got back in the goal but wasn't positioned perfectly. I saw a lot of net for Wasserman to shoot at, and you can see him coming to the sideline frustrated. He'd love to get that one back.
Matt Madelon takes the timeout. Second of the half for the Tigers. It comes with 3 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the second quarter, and Princeton up 4-1. And even with the 4-1 lead, Matt Madelon not happy after the turnover and the clean look at the other end. Tyler Blaisdell making 10 saves today for the Princeton senior. 10 saves on 11 shots.
Man, that's a good total for an entire game, never mind, you know, part of the first half. And
good that he's made 10 saves, not good that he's had to make 10 saves.
Correct.
And we still have almost 4 minutes to go before halftime.
Correct. You have Monmouth, you know, trending towards 30 shots and a half. I mean, as a defense, you're not happy with that, but Blaisdell really standing tall in goal and making the saves that are necessary to keep Princeton with that leading momentum up 4-1. And look at the different philosophies Cody, Monmouth comes to a timeout, and it's one big huddle, and Princeton goes to an offensive and defensive huddle. Nothing right or wrong about it, but very interesting just from a coaching perspective of how teams handle the huddle.
Another storyline we touched on in our pregame interview with Matt Madelon, but haven't talked a lot about since. Jeremy Hirsch, the new defensive coordinator, replacing Jesse Bernhardt. Tough to turn down the defensive coordinator job at your alma mater, Maryland, if you're Jesse, but Jeremy Hirsch, 2010 graduate, the captain of that Princeton team, now the defensive coordinator, the 6th different defensive coordinator in 6 years for the Tigers.
Yeah, and you heard Coach in the pregame mention, not ideal to have 6 defensive coordinators in 6 years, but how great is it to bring a former captain and someone familiar with the program and the campus in Jeremy Hirsch.
Spent the past few years as an assistant on Greg Raymond's staff up at Hobart, trying to keep the defensive system consistent from year to year. It wasn't Jesse Bernhardt's system, it was a Princeton defensive system. 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. 4-1 Tigers on top. Monmouth breaks from the Princeton timeout with possession. Here's Bloodgood. Passing it up top. Schulte back out to the midfield. Princeton jumped out to an early 4-0 lead, and then Monmouth scored a goal a few minutes ago to get on the scoreboard. Here's a shot. Blaisdell makes the save. Then it nearly trickled in, but he's able to pick it up. That's save number 11 for Tyler Blaisdell. Season high last year was 18 against Harvard and Yale. 2 years ago, career high 20 saves in a game against Johns Hopkins down in Baltimore.
That was a career game for a lot of people on the Princeton roster. We talked about Sims, and Blaisdell was terrific that day as well, as Brown falls over in the defense, or the offensive half, as the Monmouth defense applies some pressure, but Austin Sims carries it in, and Princeton slows it down to get their offensive personnel on the field.
I say the second midfield line, that includes Austin Sims. Again, Matt Madelon saying he may not come off the field all year, him and Sowers, but he is alongside Dawson McKenzie and then Strib Walker, who the last 2 years was a defensive midfielder. Here's Sowers trying to turn the corner. His shot off the legs of a Monmouth defender and then scooped up by Dylan Smart. He'll get it back to his netminder. Monmouth will push it up from right to left, trying to clear, and they're able to.
Great job by the defense of the Hawks keeping Sowers in check. Sowers usually so proficient at coming around the cage and finishing with ease. Not that time, as Winchue had the chance to pick up the ground ball clean, but instead pokes it out of bounds, and the Hawks will retain possession.
Sowers does have 2 assists. That was his first shot on goal today. 1:45 to go, second quarter. Princeton with a 4-1 lead. Monmouth, though, has possession. Tyler Blaisdell making 11 saves already here in the first half. Bryce Wasserman, the lone goal scorer for Monmouth today, had 29 a year ago. That goal tied him for the all-time lead in Monmouth history. Here's a shot and another save by Blaisdell. That time Zach Clemente, reserve midfielder. 1:15 to go. The Tigers time to set up another opportunity on offense.
And that's 2 straight saves where Blaisdell's barely had to move his stick. Both saves stick side high. Wow, and a great trail check by Monmouth.
That was Wasserman who comes away with it. He was in on the double on the ride. Wasserman has it as they knock Caputo's stick out of his hand. And then the high pass. Monmouth can't handle it. Medgalchi has it for the Tigers, going from left to right.
Little pace in between the restraining boxes now as Bauer moves it to Brown, who has got pressure, but I think Princeton may have gotten a timeout. Oh, offsides for Princeton. And Monmouth with the quick restart. Wow.
Hawks down at the other end, and Blaisdell's able to clamp down on it, make it 12 in the first half for the senior.
He read it low, it came low, and Blaisdell drops down and makes another terrific athletic save. Almost unbeatable today.
Post-game, we'll have our Nissan player of the game. I think I know who the early leader is for the Tigers. Final 15 seconds. Chris Brown dancing around behind the cage, trying to wrap it topside. Swings it out. Sims loads, fires, and scores. 5-1 Tigers on the goal by the senior captain, Austin Sims.
And that goal looks a lot like a lot of goals on the Austin Sims highlight reel. Gets the right hand free, sees the goal well, and executes beautifully. Great shot, uses the ground to his advantage, and Princeton goes up 5-1.
The Tigers had a 4-0 lead. Monmouth got on the scoreboard midway through the second quarter. The Tigers, though, swing it back in their direction, back to that 4-goal lead. 9.5 seconds to go as we face it off at midfield on the Princeton Shield.
Yeah, and you know, Monmouth with the volume of shots, unable to beat Blaisdell. And then Princeton with obviously the higher shooting percentage.
Flag flies, violation against the Tigers. They wrangle possession away.
There could be 2 flags.
Looks like one of them is interference. See how they sort this one out.
Delay of game. Technical foul, 30 seconds.
It's against Sam Bonafide, who took the face-off for the Tigers.
Delay of game is a 30-second technical foul.
30-second technical with no time on the clock, so that will carry over to the second half. And the first half is in the books. 5-1 Tigers. A little bit interesting at the end of the first half, Dave.
Very interesting. Both teams really playing well on the offensive side. Princeton making the most of fewer shot opportunities, but Monmouth moving the ball well and getting all the shots that you'd like to see from a Division I offense. They're all there, but they just can't beat number 2, Tyler Blaisdell. We'll see if he cools off at halftime and Monmouth's able to beat him a couple times in the third and fourth, but so far no luck. Blaisdell, the star.
13 saves for the senior all-conference netminder for the Tigers. It's a couple of goals by Philip Robertson, McKenzie, Brown, and Sims. Also finding the back of the cage for the Tigers, and the lone Monmouth goal in the first half came right at the midway point of the second quarter by Bryce Wasserman. 5-1 the score at halftime. If you're listening on the Princeton IMG Sports Network, we'll have the Hampton and out-of-town scoreboard and a look at the first half stats. If you're watching on the Ivy League Network, we'll introduce you to a man who's happy to be back out on the field, Aaron Roberts, sidelined by injuries basically the last 2 years, and out there part of this defensive unit today for the Tigers. At the half here in Princeton, New Jersey, the Tigers 5 and the Monmouth Hawks 1 here on the Princeton IMG Sports Network and the Ivy League Network.
Whoever said that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line never said anything about the quality of the ride. With Suburban Transit Coach USA, you can charter a luxury motor coach for all of your special occasions. From your wedding day to corporate events, sightseeing, trips to the casino, sporting events, and concerts. Enjoy free amenities on board, things like Wi-Fi, restrooms, and movies. So to book your charter anywhere in the US or Canada, just contact our sales office today.
I played hurling, which is kind of similar to lacrosse in a certain way. It's a pretty old game, but it's played with like a wooden stick. I suppose you kind of think of it as a mix of like field hockey, ice hockey, but you can pick the ball up. And I played Gaelic football and soccer. My first introduction to lacrosse was when we were leaving, when we made a decision that we were moving. A family friend who had relatives in America gave us all fiddlesticks, and I thought that that's what you played with. So I went to an indoor lacrosse practice with a fiddlestick and a hurling helmet, and I was told pretty quickly that I would need some different equipment. When I started playing lacrosse, you know, I made a decision when I was like 14 that I wanted to play Division 1 lacrosse. And I was lucky enough over the next few years to get some interest from some schools, and I wanted to go to the best institution possible where I could also play and compete. And you know, Princeton's the perfect mix. You know, it's been everything I wanted and more.
When we watched him in high school and his recruiting film and him running people down, mowing people down, the physical nature which we played with, and then you meet him off the field and he's this wonderfully polite individual. It's those switches that you can flip that are going to continue to make him a great lacrosse player.
I kind of had a rough go at it the last 2 years. Coming back off the freshman year, I was pretty excited, and then obviously he injured the foot, and that then pushed on into the following 2 years kind of as a recovery process, and it was definitely tough, but just happy to be back out in the field now and finally healthy and ready to go. You know, it's probably the 2 toughest years of my life, like going back injury wise. Definitely thoughts cross your mind, was like, can my body actually do this anymore? You know, coming back off the foot and then feeling finally that I was ready to go, but then tearing my quad was a big setback and was pretty tough mentally, but it's just a matter of kind of keeping your head down and pushing through it.
It makes us smile when we hear him. You know, he's out there on the field barking. It gives us, you know, it gives us a little extra edge there. But he's a big, mean defenseman. You know, prototypical size. You know, 6 and change and around 210 pounds. And to get him back after a guy that's fought through those injuries, those are tough to recover from. And he came back mentally focused. He does an outstanding job. He's a natural leader. He's abrasive at times, and that's a great thing for us. You know, he really doesn't care about rubbing people the wrong way. He knows what's right. He works his tail off for it. So to bring back that attitude and edge into our locker room and onto the field, something as coaches, you know, we're really happy about it.
I still feel that I'm a little rusty, that there's some things that I need to improve on. But you know, when you got good teammates pushing you every day, you know, you'll learn pretty quickly. So I hope that I can make an impact this season and help the boys out.
When you lose great players like that, it's also a great opportunity for the other players on your team to really take on new roles and new responsibilities. It's hard to replace an Olivia or an Ellie, but I think we'll start first on the attack. For Olivia's position, we're going to expect our attackers as a whole and our middies as a whole to pick up their production. We're not going to be heavily relying on one person, and you know, we're going to need multiple people who want the ball in crunch time and who can make plays. And I think our players are really excited about that opportunity for them. And then on the other end, yeah, it's tough. I mean, Ellie was the leading goalie in save percentage for the last 2 years in Division 1, which is pretty incredible. But we do have 3 good goalies. But we've got a number of players in our program who are ready to step into new roles and contribute more on the scoring end. Testa Orsi is looking good, coming off of a great year last year. We've got Allie Rogers, one of the quickest kids. We call her an ankle breaker. She's just really hard to contain and stop. We've got Kyla Sears, a new freshman who's come in and is living up to all of those reviews she had coming out of high school. She's just very dynamic on the field and a great scorer, great playmaker. She can catch just about anything, so she's going to really be a big part of that offensive unit. And then we have Colby Chanenchuk, who returns as the leading assister last year, looking to figure in there as well. And we have Julia Haney's playing really well behind the cage. So I think we're going to have a good attack unit, and we have some good depth in that position, which we're really excited about too. This year our drawers, Elizabeth George and Ellie McNulty, a big part of our success will be on how well they control the draw and are able to win a lot of those self-draws as well. So we're excited about both of them. They've both been working hard at that and are doing really well. And we'd like to think that the draw is going to be a strength for us this year. And so many fabulous lacrosse players would love to be able to get a Princeton education and to be able to get that kind of education and play for a quality team who's perennially going to NCAA tournaments and winning Ivy championships. I mean, that draws a lot of people to Princeton. And we're excited to have such competitive contests at home. We love playing in the class of 1952 stadium on Sherrod Field. We have such history and tradition there, and it's such a beautiful stadium to play in. So we're excited for every game that we have this year, and I think the fans will really enjoy some of the big contests we have coming to Princeton.
I've been told the 4 for 40 rule. You have 4 years here for 40 years after you graduate.
It was a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision.
You want to win. You want to be the best in anything. And so being in some place that's so competitive in all aspects of life is going to make you more competitive in the future, and you'll strive for more, you'll want more, and you'll be a better version of you.
I think we all can identify the fact that this is all 100% worth it, because there's so much you can get out of it. You're testing yourself every single day.
You're going to get pushed in ways you never imagined.
Combination of talent and character, right? And that comes out in training.
And you're going to be around people, great people from all different backgrounds that they're going to push you, both from a competitive nature and from a supportive nature.
Getting the little things done.
You hear these people that have gone off and started these companies, or gone off and even if they're an engineer, they're working with kids down in Africa. Hearing all these things and such diverse stories, it's going to open so many doors, especially people that have gone there before. The network that's available is just amazing.
Getting set for the start of the third quarter, Princeton led by as many as 4, and that's their lead as we get set to start the second half. Tigers leading the Monmouth Hawks 5-1. Cody Crushell, Dave Giancola back with you. Again, stats not indicative of the score. The Tigers being badly outshot by the fifth-year Hawks in this contest. Shots 32-13, but Tyler Blaisdell today the great equalizer. 13 first-half saves for the senior.
Yeah, the senior stepping up big, setting the tone for his senior season in that first half, or at least that's what the team and coaching staff is hoping for. Played really well, but we know how this game is. It's a game that's carried by momentum and scoring streaks, and Monmouth, you can just sense that they're due for some sort of scoring streak in the second half. They're moving the ball just too well.
Monmouth last year scored about 9.5 goals per game, third in the MAC, but just 41st in Division I. They only have 4 starters back. One of those starters, Eamon Campbell, who's their second leading returning scorer from a year ago, is out today with an injury. He wrapped up last year with a goal in 10 consecutive games. Also tied the young school record for man-up tallies with 6. So he's a big weapon there without. And Bryce Wasserman had 29 goals last year. He's responsible for the lone tally today for the Hawks. We won't have a face-off to start the second half. That final face-off in the first half with about 10 seconds to go. It was a delay of game call against the Tigers senior Sam Bonafide. So Monmouth will go man up for the third time today to start the second half.
And during halftime, they drew up this man-up play, and they want to execute and get the second half started with a goal.
15 seconds left on the man-up. Team switching sides. Tyler Blaisdell wearing the white jersey, manning the cage to our right. Pass out in front, quick stick and a goal by Hunter Jones. Was well covered, just found the seam, and the junior has Monmouth's first man-up tally of the day to make it a 5-2 game.
Well, Hunter Jones, an attackman going 6'4", 230. When he's in front of the cage 1 yard away, there's not a ton you can do once he catches the ball. That time it was turn, shoot, and score for Jones. And the junior puts Monmouth on the board early in the second half. 5-2 Tigers.
Back to the face-off X, and a late violation call against Monmouth gives it back to the Tigers, so they'll try to get that goal back. Monmouth trying to build a little bit of momentum.
And to build that momentum, face-off wins are crucial. When you can start playing make-it-take-it lacrosse, that's how you string scores together and put together the streak that Monmouth knows they really deserve after the volume of shots they had in that first quarter. But again, Blaisdell too much.
Sowers 2 assists in the first half. Chris Brown, the Tigers team leader, with 3 points. A goal and 2 assists for the freshman attackman. Austin Sims dodging in right side, nothing doing, so he'll carry it below goal line extended. Switching spots with Michael Sowers. Now gives it up to Sowers, the sophomore. Here's Sowers, one-on-one, draws the pole. That's Garrett Pfeiffer, the lone returner on defense for the Hawks. McCarthy. Riley Thompson, he's been eerily quiet today. Here's Brown trying to get past his man. They pick him up on the slide. Robertson behind the cage distributing. McCarthy dives below a man, bounces the shot. It's blocked once again. Ball loose in front of the Monmouth cage, 10 yards out. Riley Thompson keeps it for the Tigers into Sims, and there's a flag coming in, so it's a free possession.
Looks like there was a slash on Thompson. Brown with the ball for Princeton as they get it back to Sowers.
We don't have official stats on it. That has to be the third or fourth good shape Princeton shot that's been blocked today.
And Monmouth doing a nice job of staying in position on the defensive side as Sims isolates behind the cage against a short stick.
Sims gives it up, throws it a little bit too far behind Thompson, and the Tigers turn it over as we get the whistle with Dylan Smart picking up the ground ball.
And we saw the Tigers execute on an earlier man-up opportunity. They'll try to duplicate that result here as they get their best 6 on the field, going up against the best defensive 5 for the Hawks.
Call is against Sean Napolitano, number 19 for Monmouth, with his right knee on the ground in the penalty area. So the Tigers going man up once again, one of the top man up units in the Ivy League last year.
A lot to cover as a defense for this Princeton man up. We knew about Sowers and Sims, but we're learning a lot about Chris Brown in this game today.
Brown gets the pass from Sims. Tiptoeing, thought about going behind the back, or at least sold it that way. Now McCarthy gives it up to Sowers. 30 seconds left on the Tigers man up. Here's Sims, winds, bounces it, and a great low save by Noah Lodi, the freshman.
Great save by Lodi, an athletic save. We talked about Blaisdell making similar saves where you read the shot low and you drop your entire body.
Just the third save of the day for the freshman, who came way out past the restraining line to feather the pass up ahead.
And Wasserman touches it in for the Hawks on the offensive side. As you said, Cody, he was the first to score for the Hawks in that first half. Going up against Medgalchi. Medgalchi doing a great job against Wasserman, who goes 6-3.
Penalty expires on Napolitano, so now these teams back at even strength. 11:40 to go, third quarter. Princeton 5, Monmouth 2. Hawks with possession. They were down 4-0 and they were down 5-1. Back behind the cage, here's Griffin Fiegel. Carries it top side, low pass. Off the stick of his intended target, Schulte, picked up by Winshew. There goes the big defender for the Tigers, Winshew clearing it himself. Caputo fires, bounces it wide left, backed up by Sowers. How about Danny Winshew running in transition after he scooped it off the turf?
Yeah, clean ground ball and all green ahead for Winshew. A nice job of clearing it on his own, and almost the transition goal for the Tigers as Sims takes it up top, thinks about dodging, but moves it on to Thompson. We haven't mentioned Thompson a lot. Coming in, I mean, Thompson, again, one of the smartest guys on the field.
Brown fires. May have hit the post. Long carom, Monmouth has it. Chris Hervada, the freshman defender, scooping and running.
Monmouth's got numbers if they push it, and they cut, and they do.
In transition, shot whistles wide by Greer Wilson, backed up by the Hawks with 10:45 to go in the third quarter.
And a great decision there to push it. They had the backup behind the cage if the shot missed. It did. They retained possession and a quick restart.
Third quarter action, Monmouth down by 3. They've trailed by as many as 4 goals twice today as they work at the cage to our right. Tyler Blaisdell working on a career day here in the third quarter. Casey Kimmel, first time we've seen him out there today in the midfield wearing number 17. Passes it back up top, Jake Wilson. Brian Fisher, the Monmouth head coach, mixing and matching personnel, carrying in, firing high over the crossbar is Zach Clemente.
And a great job by Clemente. Just one dodge and go. Too often players dance a lot, and it actually plays to the defense's hand. They're able to get under control. Wasserman crosses goal line extended, tries to wrap around and can't.
Medgalchi was there step for step. Monmouth maintains the handle with 10 minutes to go in the third, down by 3 goals. Griffin Fiegel back up top. Hawks settling it back down. Monmouth with 36 shots compared to 17 for the Tigers. Contact from Marine, ball is loose. Blaisdell trying to get it. A Tiger levels a Hawk. Pushed him into the crease.
No,
they're going to award possession to the Tigers. They're going to say it was a clean hit.
Yeah, he cleared the man. The man just happened to be right near the crease, so he cleared him into the crease, and Princeton gets the ball. Good call.
The fleet-footed Jasper Arnold clears it from right to left for the Tigers, right into the stick of Chris Brown, and Princeton goes back on the attack, leading this one 5-2 in the third quarter. Philip Robertson, 2 early goals. Gives it up Austin Sims, camped out in the alley, near side down to our left. Now back to Robertson. Princeton trying to tack on to this 3-goal lead. First time these two teams have ever played in the regular season. They've scrimmaged in the preseason a couple of times. Not this year, of course, as McCarthy carries it behind the cage, passes off Sowers.
Sowers, far side, setting up a pick by McCarthy.
Sowers looking for space. Great job today defensively by Garrett Pfeiffer. Sowers has attempted only 1 shot. Make it 2. He dives across. Ball is in the back of the net. Officials get together, and the goal is good with the flag flying. First goal of the season for Michael Sowers.
The persistence of Michael Sowers and knowing exactly what he wanted to do there resulted in the, you could call it an and one, even though they pick it up, but did a nice job of forcing himself to the front of the cage, drawing the foul and finishing regardless of the contact. And back to the faceoff X and Sam Bonafide, who's done well today in getting Princeton possession back after scores. Monmouth would love to push transition and get another quick one here.
When you talk Sowers, you think efficient. 2 shots today. He has 3 points, 1 goal, 2 early assists. 6-2 Tigers, that lead ballooning back up to 4. Monmouth has been able to chip away a little bit, but Princeton always able to get that 4-goal lead back. We have a hold. It's against Monmouth on the face-off, and the Tigers have possession.
And that's what Sowers does. You know he's scoring, but then you look at the stat line at the end, and the totals are just astounding, especially in the assist column.
You look at the top 3 scoring leaders in Division I last year as far as points. Connor Fields, Jeff Teed, and Michael Sowers, 1, 2, 3. Fields, 50 turnovers as the pass is in front, and Robinson has the hat trick. Philip Robertson just dumped it in on the feed. Back-to-back goals for the Tigers here with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's 7-2.
And you can tell Robertson's having fun out there. 3 goals and 3 celebrations to fit. He's having a great day and a lot of fun with his teammates in game 1, and that's what you want, a sophomore gaining momentum in the first game if you're a Princeton fan.
Robertson last year, 3 goals all season. He only played 4 games as a true freshman. He has 3 goals today. How about this stat line? Philip Robertson in his career, he's taken 7 shots. He's scored on 6 of them. And the Tigers have their largest lead of the day at 7-2. Bonafide's been out there for the face-off each time. Now Monmouth will switch it up. Ball is still loose. That was Chandler Vanderbeek, number 22, taking it, and the Tigers scoop it up. It's Philip Robertson.
Great vision by Robertson. Here's transition for the Tigers.
Marine bounces it wide left. A couple of white jerseys there to backstop it for Princeton.
Great shot, off by a few inches. Was aiming for that lower left corner. Sowers will take it in at X.
Tigers have momentum. A great crowd here today. You would expect it with so many players from the Garden State on both of these rosters.
Yeah, and a lot of people in New Jersey not sure if they'll get out of the house tomorrow.
Is it going to be that bad?
I don't know. Depends what weatherman you listen to this morning.
If I listen to Dave Giancola, is it going to be that bad? Sowers one-on-one. Trying to make his decision. He'll back it up at X. Now trying to curl it top side. Stutter step, passes it up top. First time today we've seen Braden Gate. Part of that second midfield line. Sims fires the shot. It trickles wide. Tigers will keep it. Chris Brown kind of came up top that time. Braden Gates out there as well. Emmett Cordray out there for the first time. Matt Madelon with his 5-goal lead midway through the third quarter, mixing and matching. Here's Chris Brown, the big-bodied freshman, having a great day so far. He'll give up the pass to Sowers. Tucked back by the end line down to the left. Sowers, pass off the back of the cage. And it's scooped up by Noah Lodi. Rare turnover by Michael Sowers.
And Monmouth will look to clear. Again, just a 5-goal game and plenty of time. Game of lacrosse, you can score quickly and in bunches, and Monmouth just waiting for that streak to come.
One of the remarkable numbers, and there are plenty from Michael Sauer's freshman season. In 15 games, he turned the ball over 16 times and put up 82 points.
And you think about how much possession he has, that is remarkable.
6 minutes left in the third quarter. It was low scoring early on. It was a scoreless game through the first 13 minutes and change. Shot by Schulte, and they beat Blaisdell. It's a 7-3 game.
Great shot by Schulte. Great accuracy to beat Blaisdell with a little bit of space to get the shot off, but now it's all about the face-off. Monmouth hasn't put together back-to-back goals because after the goal, they tend to lose the next face-off. Can they win this one and string two together?
Not a ton of elusiveness by the redshirt senior from nearby Southampton, New Jersey. Found some space and let it fly for his first of the season. Schulte, last year's second-team All-MAC. Brian Fisher loves these two-way midfielders. And Schulte certainly fits that mold. Last year, 11 goals to go along with 37 ground balls. 7-3 the score. 5:55 to go in the third quarter. Bonifati out there once again for the Tigers against Chandler Vanderbeek. Bonifati wins it cleanly for Princeton. Princeton didn't lose a face-off in the first quarter, and then in the second quarter, Monmouth pulled those numbers even. High pass, Bonifati over the stick of Marine. Ball is loose on the Monmouth end. A couple of navy blue jerseys get to it first, and it's the sophomore Dylan Smart with possession. And then he coughs it up. Andrew Song trying to sweep it to himself. Song loses his cross.
It's got to be a push.
We get a whistle, it's a push, and the Tigers actually know Monmouth will get possession.
Wow.
Song lost his stick, but they're going to say it's a push against Princeton.
Yeah, or a procedural? Did they say he was playing without a stick?
High pass nearly intercepted by the 6'2 freshman Brown, but Monmouth will settle it down on the attack. Hawks back within 4 at 7-3, and still over 20 minutes left to go in this one. Wasserman has one of the 3 goals, jams on the brakes, now comes out the near side, turning the corner, gives it up.
There's an early slide by Williams, and there was a double there for a second, but Princeton able to get back into position. But now it's Wasserman up against Williams, the short stick. This should be an advantage for 77.
Passes it off, back behind the cage, Fagel. Shot comes up top, it's a bouncer too high over the cage, and the Tigers are closest.
The hustle.
Armin Medgalce, the sophomore, in a great position on the end line.
The hustle was the difference. Fagel thought he won the race, but they give it to Medgalce as Chase Williams, we talked about it, a two-sport athlete here at Princeton, a member of the football team. He clears it all on his own, and he'll touch it right into the restraining box and move it over to Sims.
Williams, one of the surprises last year as a freshman, sort of by necessity pushed into the starting lineup, and he ended up being the only defensive midfielder to play in every game for the Tigers a year ago, and then this past fall kind of playing a role on the football field, one of the top special teams players for Bob Serace. Saw a couple of huge highlight reel hits out of Chase Williams on the gridiron. Thompson trying to muscle his way towards the crease pass hands. He doesn't have any space, so he'll make the smart play and give it up to Sowers. Here's Sowers coming out near side, trying to roll it off the foot of a defender, and Monmouth comes away with possession.
Yeah, another block shot.
It's got to be 5 or 6 today for the Tigers.
Yeah, and they're doing a nice job reading that scouting report. Sowers likes coming around the cage and kind of rolling the ball sometimes. Monmouth accounting for that and doing a nice job.
Fagel passes it off of the restraining line to Jake Hensey, the junior from New Britain, Pennsylvania, with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Princeton 7, Monmouth 3, first ever meeting between these New Jersey programs. Talked about the contrast. This is the 5th season for the Monmouth lacrosse program. We had to run the numbers pregame. This is the 110th season for the Princeton lacrosse program. Monmouth out shooting Princeton badly, but still patient here, down 4 goals late in the third quarter as they carry it back out with Dylan Schulte.
Here's a dodging opportunity for Fagel behind the cage.
Haven't seen the shot clock come into play today. Still sort of arbitrary when the officials decide to put it on. Low shot rings wide. That time Wasserman was there to back it up and keep it with the Hawks.
Ooh, good first step by Wasserman. He beat Medgalci.
Turning the corner, and he also beats Blaisdell with Medgalci left lying on the turf, and then a late flag comes in. It's a 7-4 game.
And that flag may be, there was a little bit of a late hit on Princeton, but Wasserman got up and kind of got in the face of a Princeton Tiger. It may be on Wasserman for coming up and kind of getting in the Tigers' face. And it looks like they're calling for 77 to come to the penalty box. And that is non-releasable. He got up. He thought he had a late hit. He got up and let Princeton know about it. And sometimes it's the second guy that gets the flag.
So the goal counts. It's a 7-4 game, but as Dave just mentioned, and they announced over the PA system, 1 minute penalty on Wasserman, non-releasable.
And that's kind of an emotional play there, but it really hurts because Monmouth can't try to play that make it, take it lacrosse. It's not a face-off. It's Princeton ball.
Second goal today for Wasserman on 12 of Monmouth's 40 shots. Tyler Blaisdell has not made a save here in the second half. He had 13 of them in the first half, and now it's a 3-goal game, but the Tigers will go man up for the next 50 seconds.
The referee's getting an earful right now.
Austin Sims, Michael Sowers, Connor McCarthy, Chris Brown, Dawson McKenzie, and Riley Thompson, the 6 on attack for the Tigers. A little bit of trickery. It finds its way to Brown. Here's McCarthy now top of the box. Thompson feathers the pass to Sims. 30 seconds left on the Tigers man up. They're 1 for 2 today. Last year, Princeton, the top man up unit in the Ivy League, 9th best in the nation. Thompson, McCarthy winds, fires, saved by Lodi, the freshman. Long carom to Monmouth.
What a
They
play.
put the ball back on the turf, though, and McKenzie has it for the Tigers.
Riley Thompson, what a play. Not only does he knock the ball loose, but then he kind of throws the little hockey pass, gets it to a teammate, able to pick up the ground ball, and Princeton retains possession, but the penalty is over. Wasserman back on the field, 6-on-6 in the Princeton offensive half of the field.
Riley Thompson, Canadian like Zach Currier, high school teammates with Zach Currier, as the bouncer in front of the cage is gobbled up by the netminder Lodi. Kind of looked like Zach Currier that time, making things happen in traffic and getting possession back for the Tigers, but they can't capitalize.
Yeah, that's certainly one of those all 3 facets of the game in one play kind of maneuver that Zach Currier did a lot.
Dawson McKenzie, Riley Thompson, Zach Currier, all teammates for a couple of years at Culver Academy in Indiana. Not a bad high school program out there, especially when you had that trio. Final 45 seconds in the third quarter. Monmouth trying to make it a 2-goal game. They were down by as many as 5 for a while. They struggled to get it back to 4. Here's a bouncer and another goal by the Hawks. 2-goal game. That's Dan Bloodgood, the redshirt senior, the New Jersey native, makes it 7-5.
Well, you knew it was a matter of time before Monmouth's shooting percentage increased. And Monmouth, 2 goals in a short amount of time, and just like that, a 2-goal game before the end of the third quarter. This game is anybody's.
Tyler Blaisdell, 13 saves in the first half. He hasn't made one here in the second half, and Monmouth continuing to pepper the cage. It's a 7-5 contest, and all of a sudden a huge face-off here with 33 seconds to go. Sam Bonafide against Chandler Vanderbeek. One of 2 Hawks with a brother on this team, or I guess I should say 4 Hawks with a brother on this team. Vanderbeek trying to clamp down on it, pushes it back towards the Princeton end, and the Hawks have it. Here's Smart, the defender, high shot right into the stick of Blaisdell. Outlet pass looking for Bonafide, corrals it on a couple of short hops on the near sideline. 15 seconds to go, and then he airmails it over the head of Chase Williams.
He might be able to get that. He
Williams
does.
chases it down, 8 seconds to go, and then it rolls out of bounds.
He stopped it, and when he tried to scoop it back up, it looks like he pushed it just over the line. And
long feed out in front of the cage as time expires. Winshue scoops it up for the Tigers. Third quarter has come to an end, but Monmouth all of a sudden with a little bit of a flurry has some momentum. Princeton was up 7-2 in this one. It's now a 7-5 contest. As we'll come back for the start of the fourth quarter. Princeton 7, Monmouth 5 here on the Princeton IMG Sports Network and the Ivy League Network.
Joint implants customized to match your unique anatomy. Advanced technology for precise navigation. And the only hospital in the capital region with Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery for increased accuracy and shorter recoveries. Make a difference in your knees, your hips, your life. RWJ Hamilton. Let's be healthy together.
Don't miss your shot to win big. Enter the Nissan Die Hard Fan Sweepstakes to win a one-of-a-kind 2018 Rogue custom wrapped in your team's colors. Plus, you could win season tickets and swag from your favorite team. To enter, go to nissanusa.com/diehardfansweepstakes for your chance to win today. No purchase necessary. Ends March 31st. Open to residents of the U.S. and D.C. 18 and older. Little flurry there at the end of the third quarter by the Monmouth Hawks, and they've taken a 5-goal deficit and whittled it down to 2. Princeton 7, Monmouth 5 as we get set to start the fourth quarter here at Sherrod Field. It was a 7-2 game after Philip Robertson's third goal of the day at the 8-minute mark of the third quarter. And then Schulte, Wasserman, and Bloodgood all scoring in the final 6 minutes of the third quarter for the Hawks. Huge face-off here. Sam Bonafide has taken every one for the Tigers, and Monmouth will turn back to Keegan Teluk, the senior, who was just 5 of 35 a year ago. Face-offs overall today, 7-6 in favor of the Tigers.
And the Monmouth crowd riding the momentum of the Monmouth lacrosse team, and 2-goal game, 15 minutes.
Bonafide wins it cleanly for the Tigers, who work from left to right here in the fourth quarter, trying to get the lead back above 2.
That's a big face-off win for the Tigers. You could just sense Monmouth with the momentum going into that break between quarters.
Robertson has a hat trick for the Tigers, a 4-point day, a goal and 3 assists for the freshman Chris Brown. McCarthy, a step on his defender. They slide on him, so he'll carry it behind the cage. Here's McCarthy wrapping it around, another shot blocked. Thompson had a shot at it, but it's the goaltender Lodi scooping it up.
And Monmouth will look to clear here. Still behind midfield. Princeton set up for the ride, but Monmouth able to break it.
Chandler Vanderbeek, wearing number 22, carries it in. Against light resistance for the Tigers, he'll pass it off. Hunter Jones camped out right alley, defended by Roberts. Aaron Roberts starting on defense alongside Daniel Winshew and Armin Medgalchi, the senior, the junior, and the sophomore.
And what a matchup for Roberts going up against Hunter Jones, 6'4", 230.
Pass out to the midfield, through everybody. Swept back onto the Princeton end by the Monmouth midfield, and it's scooped up by Chase Williams. So Monmouth with a turnover early in the fourth quarter, down by 2 goals, gives it back to Princeton.
Williams did a great job last year and continuing this year of clearing the ball all on his own.
Into the stick of Austin Sims. He'll pass it off to Robertson. Braden Gate joining the fray for the Tigers along with Emmett Cordray. Sims hasn't come off the field today, either as Michael Sowers. 13 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Princeton 7, Monmouth 5. Tigers have possession. Braden Gate passes it behind the cage. Robertson, as Sowers now camps out in front. And now he'll tuck back to his normal spot as the pass comes up to the top of the box.
Here comes Brown up against his short stick. We've seen him use his physicality to get to the cage. He'll try to do that again.
Bounces the pass off the ankles of his fellow number 6 and out of bounds. That was deflected by Greer Wilson as it stays with the Tigers.
But Monmouth keeps the pull on Sims, and Brown will continue to have this short stick matchup. Princeton will continue to look to exploit that matchup.
Brown turning the corner. Stick side saved by Lodi. Long carom, top of the box. Ball still down on the turf. A Tiger falls on it. Princeton wanted the push call. Ball is still down. Monmouth trying to sweep it out to the midfield, and they do. It's Chris Hervada, the freshman, coming away with it. And then he has the ball jousted away.
Sowers
He'll
on the
sweep it into the
side.
end. Here's Wasserman down in front. High shot deflected over the cage by Blaisdell.
And there's a flag down. Offsides, 30 seconds. And not sure if it was Sowers who went offsides, but he did end up on the defensive side of the field, but Cordray will sit. Good hustle by Sowers with the trail check to knock the ball loose, but Princeton unable to come up with possession. Monmouth goes 6-on-5 for 30 seconds.
Hawks 1 for 2 with the extra man today. So each team has now been man up 3 times this afternoon. Hawks down by just 2 after trailing by as many as 5.
And needless to say, this man up huge for the Hawks.
Gordon Phillips out there with a short stick. His shot blocked by a sprawling Medgalchi. Trickles towards the top of the Princeton crease. Blaisdell had it, but then Monmouth wrestles it away. Here's a shot deflected again. Winchue chasing after it. 2 Hawks there along with Winchue.
Winchue trying to, now he gets some help, and a great job, a great ground ball by Winchue.
Winchue has it. Teams are back at full strength, so the Tigers fight it off. And then the Tigers put it on the turf, trying to clear it. Chase Williams, he just lost it, but Caputo has it. JT Caputo trying to be the one-man clear. Zigzagging his way through a couple of Navy jerseys, pushed towards the sideline. Gets it to Brown. Brown has some space. Brown passing it off behind Robertson, and the Tigers turn it over.
Not sure if that got deflected or if Robertson just didn't see it all the way into his stick, but Monmouth now with some pace.
Gordon Phillips, a bouncer and a low save by Tyler Blaisdell on the short hop.
Probably not the shot when you're down 2, trying to get that all-important 6th goal. That one just a little too easy for Blaisdell to track down.
Tigers settle it down with Austin Sims in the midfield area. That's the 15th save of the afternoon by Blaisdell, but just his 2nd here in the second half. Keeps it a 2-goal Princeton advantage with 10.5 minutes to play. Chris Brown loses his defender, passes it behind the cage, bottom of the top to Robertson, who swings it out to Thompson, carrying into the midfield. Now Connor McCarthy, top of the formation, passes it off. Sims trying to get free, offhand, fires a shot wide, backed up by Sowers.
And a timeout by the Hawks.
We'll keep it here with just over 10 minutes to go in this contest. Princeton leading this one 7-5. A message from the New Jersey Office of the Attorney General. Traffic stops can be stressful for everyone. For tips on how to help a traffic stop go smoothly, quickly, and safely, go to SafeStopNewJersey.com. Princeton 7, Monmouth 5 with 10 minutes to go as the Hawks have just taken a timeout.
And out of this timeout, Monmouth will look to get the offense going. Their next shot will tie their program record. It will be their 47th of the game, which is a tremendous total. We still have 10 minutes to play. Not only will they break the program record, but they could get up near 60.
How about this early season gauntlet for the Tigers? It's Monmouth, the team that won 14 games last year, went to the NCAA tournament and was undefeated in their conference. And then next Saturday, you head down to Charlottesville and take on 10th-ranked Virginia. The Saturday after that, you head down to Baltimore and take on 8th-ranked Johns Hopkins. After that, the next Saturday, Rutgers comes to town.
Yeah, you're talking program after program, competition after competition, and that's just no days off. And I think that's kind of a mentality that can benefit the Tigers moving forward. You really front load that out-of-conference schedule with some really talented teams, 2 in-state rivals, Monmouth and Rutgers. Rutgers last year beating Princeton for the first time in a long time up at High Point Solution Stadium in what seemed like single-digit degree weather.
Out of the Monmouth timeout, we hit the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter. It was a 7-2 Princeton lead. It's now 7-5, although the Tigers a chance to try to get one back here on the attack as Brown carries it around behind the cage, and then as the carpet pulled out from under him, loses the ball, and it's scooped up by Dylan Smart. The Tigers turn it over.
Yeah, I used to call that the turf monster, the unforced trip.
Well, it got him that time, and now Monmouth a chance to make it a 1-goal game with 9.5 minutes to go as they carry in from right to left.
Yeah, every possession so crucial. Blaisdell locked in, communicating with his defenders, trying to direct traffic.
Offensive drought here for the Tigers. Their last goal was Robertson's third of the day with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, so it's been nearly 14 minutes. Meanwhile, Monmouth scored the game's last 3, Schulte, Wasserman, and Bloodgood.
And it's been a couple of big face-off wins by Bonafide in very timely spots that have allowed Princeton to preserve this tight lead.
Monmouth passes it up to the restraining line. Zach Clemente, off-balance shot, found a seam and whistled it high from about 18 yards out. It'll stay with Monmouth.
Wasn't sure if that was a shot or a pass, but they'll say it's a shot.
Here's Wasserman, one-on-one against the sophomore. Honorable mention all-conference player from a year ago, Armin Medgalci. Medgalci, one of the top defensive recruits last year in the nation. Pass deflected by Song, stays with Monmouth, right into the cross of Wasserman. Hawks swing it back up top. Clemente, step on his man, passes up the shot to feather the pass behind the cage, and now they have him hung up. That's Griffin Fiegel scouting it out behind the cage to our left. He'll tiptoe out the near side, and the Tigers will pick him up with the short stick, Caputo. Topside pass out in front, a slam dunk by Hunter Jones, and it's a 1-goal game.
Great off-ball movement by Jones. He read the dodge of his teammate, kind of mirrored it with an off-ball cut, and the cross-cage pass ends in a quick stick dunk, and Monmouth, they are close, within 1 goal, 7-6 Tigers, 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the game, and it's back to Sam Bonafide at the face-off X for the Tigers. Again, he's won a lot of these face-offs after Monmouth goals that have prevented the Hawks from stringing goals together. The biggest face-off of the game for Monmouth right here.
Second goal of the day for Hunter Jones, the junior from Abington, Pennsylvania, who matches his total from all of last season. Bonafide had it and then kicked it to Peters, and then he lost it from Monmouth.
Looks like he
regains possession and gets it back to Pfeiffer as Peters goes down holding his left hamstring.
Yeah, they should stop that.
Huge ground ball for Peters, and now they're going to send the trainer out as he is struggling to get himself off the turf with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, you could see him pull up on that left leg, and obviously don't want to speculate from up here.
I said Peters. Dylan Smart, the sophomore wearing number 80 for Monmouth, the man down who picked up the ground ball. One of 2 new starters on defense. You have Garrett Pfeiffer, the senior captain, first-team All-MAC, along with Chris Hervada, the freshman, and Dylan Smart, the sophomore, who's now finally up, but walking very slowly, not putting any pressure on his left leg as he hobbles off the field. Heck of an effort that time to get possession for the Hawks.
Oh, great pace, clean ground ball, and a full head of steam towards the offensive part of the field. And Monmouth, they'll restart in their defensive half on the far side on the whistle.
Give the assist on that last goal to Griffin Fiegel, the junior captain from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Out of New Jersey powerhouse Bridgewater Raritan. It was a 7-2 Princeton lead, 4 straight goals by the Hawks as the defense has held the Tigers scoreless for over 15 minutes. Now a 1-goal game, and Monmouth a chance to tie it up as they clear it down to our left with 7:40 to go.
What a great situation, you know, for both teams early in the season. These pressure moments, they really get you ready for what's to come, and what's a a long, tough season for these Division I programs.
Princeton down to Virginia next weekend. It'll be a midweek game Wednesday at Wagner as they make the short trip for the Monmouth Hawks. Wasserman trying to turn the corner, matched up against Medgalchi, lowering the shoulder, curling back towards the goal line, and he gets picked up by Song. Errant pass out towards the midfield, kept by the Hawks. Casey Kimmel scoops it up, being harassed by Song, the freshman pole.
And there's the flag.
Harassed a little bit too much. They're going to get him likely for the slash. Free possession here for the Hawks.
Yeah, slash, and it all started with Hervada, the freshman defender from Monmouth, keeping the ball on the Monmouth side of the field.
Wouldn't call it a cleanly played game, but it's been an entertaining game as they turn the corner. Jones fires wide, and that will stop play and put Monmouth man up, down by a goal here midway through the fourth quarter.
Big opportunity here for the Hawks to bring things even. They'll go 6-on-5 for a full minute after the slash to what looked like it was the helmet.
It's on Andrew Song, the touted freshman from Canton, Massachusetts. Played in the U19 World Championship last summer, or 2 summers ago, representing Team China. He'll take a knee for the next minute.
Remember, it's Hunter Jones in on the crease, number 4 for Monmouth. He scored previously on the man up, and he's tough to stop when he gets the ball in tight, but now he swaps places.
Hawks
on the outside as they move it on the perimeter. You can just sense the sneak pass coming. Instead, it's a shot that ends up in the parking lot, low to high.
Brock Anderson, the man who let it fly, number 7 wearing navy for Monmouth.
Yeah, and you can see Monmouth trying to kind of lull the Princeton defense to sleep with some easy passes, but we saw Hunter Jones sneak on that last one. Look for a similar play here, but it's Jones on the outside.
Wasserman, time, room, the bouncer, and we are tied at 7. Bryce Wasserman last year, 29 goals to lead the Hawks. He was first team All-MAC, and for Wasserman, give him the hat trick. 3rd goal of the day. Earlier today, he became the Hawks' career point leader, and we are all even. 5 straight for Monmouth.
And Wasserman playing with a lot of confidence right now. And how about the use of the turf? You have a goalie in Blaisdell that's seeing the ball very well, especially when it's not a bounce shot. That time Wasserman with the short bounce finds its way to the top corner. Great creativity on the shot to draw even.
On the 51st shot of the day for the Hawks, they come all the way back from down 5 to tie it as the Tigers win the faceoff. And then Bonafede gets pushed down from behind, loses possession, but it is a push that'll give it back to the Tigers.
Yeah, loose ball push. Monmouth had possession there for a second. I thought they were going to be able to get another offensive set, but Bonafede does a nice job in stopping those plans, and Princeton will restart on offense, and the talented Michael Sowers has it near the sideline.
Relatively speaking, Monmouth doing a good job bottling up Sowers. Just 1 goal to go along with 2 assists. This is a player who last year put up 82 points in 15 games as a freshman.
Yeah. Princeton also doing, a great job of showing they don't need to force it to Sowers. They've got playmakers that can really do a great job. There's Brown.
Second goal of the day for Chris Brown. The big day continues for the freshman and the Tigers. Snap that long scoring drought to go up 8-7.
And again, the freshman who no one has seen any tape on other than some high school highlight films and maybe some summer camps. But Chris Brown making a statement in his first regular season Division I game. And what a big spot for the freshman to take a big shot.
Second goal to go along with 3 assists. So the freshman from Fairfield, Connecticut with a 5-point day. Tigers snapping that scoring drought. It was 5 straight goals by Monmouth since about the 8-minute mark in the 3rd quarter. Princeton with an 8-7 lead. Face-off pushed forward by Teluk. He'll win it cleanly to himself, and Monmouth a chance to tie it up.
And the coaching staff from Monmouth with the hands up saying slow it down. They will reset. We'll dig into the playbook.
Shots favoring Monmouth heavily, 51-28. Tyler Blaisdell with 15 saves, although 13 of them came before halftime. Noah Lodi's been better in the second half. The true freshman getting the call in net has made 7 saves. Too many turnovers. Neither coach will be thrilled with that. 14 apiece. 8-7, Princeton on top. 4.5 minutes to go in the contest. Monmouth settled down on the attack, working at the goal to our left. Here's Wasserman. One-on-one behind the cage. Matched up against Roberts today. It's normally been Medgalchi on him. Making a move behind the cage. Griffin Fiegel turns the corner. His shot deflected out of bounds by Marine.
Good job, Marine, of kind of pushing that shot to the side, and it'll be Wasserman restarting on the far side up against Roberts.
Wasserman carries it to X, stutter step, and then continues his move out the near side before giving it up to the midfield. Zach Clemente playing catch between the lines with Dan Bloodgood. Here's Clemente, pass out in front. They tried to go tic-tac-toe. The shot goes wide, but it's into the stick of Jones.
Monmouth keeps possession, and they keep the ball moving.
3.5 minutes to go. Monmouth down by a goal with an extended possession here. 51 shots already today for the Hawks. Turning back inside, Bloodgood fires from 15 yards out, goes high, and scores to tie us at 8.
Bloodgood, red shirt senior midfielder with a huge play with 3:25 to go to tie this thing at 8. A confident shot with the left hand, and he is coming to the sideline with a ton of confidence. I'll tell you what, the Monmouth sideline really feeding off each other, great energy.
Second goal of the day for the redshirt senior from Jackson, New Jersey. 8-8 the score, 3:25 to go. Face-off comes out to midfield. Keegan Teluk for Monmouth. Sam Bonafide's been out there all day for the Tigers. We have a whistle, we have a hold, and possession to Monmouth. Huge call against Sam Bonafide and the Tigers.
And this is what happens when Monmouth can retain possession. They retain the momentum. You can kind of just sense the buzz on the sideline from the away team.
Face-offs 9-8 in favor of the Hawks today. Final 3 minutes here. Monmouth, chance to take their first lead of the day after trailing by as many as 5. On the run, bouncer, kicked off the post, long carom out to the restraining line, right to the Tigers.
What a shot. They beat Blaisdell but couldn't beat the post.
Zach Clemente had the right look, couldn't sneak it in, and a fortuitous bounce for the Tigers. Right to Andrew Song, the Tigers clear it in. And now with 2.5 minutes to go, they have a chance to swing the seesaw.
And although Michael Sowers, has he has goals, he has assists, it's been a quiet day for Sowers. Is this where we call his name again?
Michael Sowers, a third-team All-American last year as a freshman, Ivy League Rookie of the Year. Austin Sims, he's been quiet as well today, one-on-one against a short stick, but not giving up any room up top as Greer Wilson doing a good job on Austin Sims.
And here's the play. Give Sims space to work against the short stick. The off-ball Tigers need to keep an eye on Sims, read his vision.
McCarthy feathers the pass along the line. Brown, a 5-point day, curls in, passes off Riley Thompson. Through traffic, shot, a bouncer by McCarthy, turned aside by Lodi.
Great save by Lodi, uses the body, a shoulder save.
Gordon Phillips has it with the pole this time. We've seen Phillips out there with the short stick on man up. Big ground ball today, big ground ball right there for Monmouth. Final 90 seconds, tied at 8, Monmouth trying to clear it.
Final 90 of regulation.
Dylan Schulte carries it in down to our left. Back up top, Dan Bloodgood. Looking for one good shot of the Monmouth Hawks here, who were down by as many as 5 before they scored 5 in a row.
Yeah, and they'll hold. They will hold for the final shot. They want to either win it or keep playing. And we're going to get a timeout.
Hawks take the timeout. The Hawks taking over the momentum here. 58 seconds to go. They will come out of the timeout with possession. Princeton 8, Monmouth 8. The first ever meeting between these two programs living up to it.
Yeah, great first matchup, and for a lot of these players on the Monmouth Hawks, the Monmouth program didn't exist when they were growing up in this state. And one of the programs that had the most success when they were growing up, the Princeton Tigers. What a great place for lacrosse in the state of New Jersey right now. Monmouth, a 14-win season, MAC champs in an NCAA tournament berth. We talked about it in the pregame. Rutgers at one point last season, #1 in the nation, but past few years they seem to be the first one left out of the tournament. We talk about NJIT building a program, working on their facilities up at their Newark campus. And obviously the storied history of Princeton with the national championship banners behind the goal. So you talk about programs flourishing in Division I in New Jersey.
58 seconds to go, fourth quarter here under cloudy skies on the season opening Saturday for the Princeton and Monmouth lacrosse programs. These teams tied up at 8. Monmouth will have possession down to our left when we break from the timeout. Jeremy Hurst, the new defensive coordinator. See what he draws up here. Him and Matt Madelon still chatting on the Princeton sideline.
And you talk about the day for Blaisdell, Cody, a lot of saves, but it might take one more to give Princeton a shot at the win. Madelon firing up his sideline, both sidelines definitely fired up. What a better way to start your season. You get all those feelings, the emotional ups and downs. You go up. It's a game of streaks, and Monmouth finally found that scoring streak, tied up 50 seconds.
At halftime, Princeton led this one 5-1. Tyler Blaisdell saved 13 of the 14 shots he faced in the first half, but Monmouth has come roaring back. Tie game, 40 seconds to go. Hawks cycling it around down to our left. Trying to stretch out the defense as two midfielders play catch to the restraining line. Now it finds its way to Schulte. 30 seconds to go. Monmouth holding for one final look. They're either going to try to win it here or send it into overtime. Out in front, ball on the ground, scooped up by Fiegel. 15 seconds to go. Fiegel trying to turn the corner against Roberts. They give it to Wasserman, the senior captain. Wasserman topside, wraps it around. Blaisdell makes the save. Sprawling stick save by Blaisdell. He'll throw it the length of the field, high over the cage. And we will go to overtime. Dangerous play by the freshman netminder Noah Lodi to get the stick on that one. I think time would have expired, and he almost knocked it back down. Thrilling ending. We will go to overtime in the first ever meeting between Princeton and Monmouth.
Tyler Blaisdell just put an exclamation point on his performance, at least for the 4 quarters of regulation. You know, when you're growing up, you're doing these goalie drills, and I can't speak from experience. I would have never been a goalie. Seems terrifying, but you match stick for stick. And that time, Wasserman comes around the cage, and Blaisdell met him stick for stick. Not only that, he saved it clean. No opportunity for a rebound from Monmouth. And then the deep pass down the field to ensure that that was it for regulation. And now we will play on as these New Jersey, I guess, newly appointed rivals really get things going with an overtime game in the first meeting, Cody. What else could you expect?
Princeton led by as many as 5. It seems like every time Monmouth would come roaring back, the Tigers would score and get it back up to a 4-goal lead, but Monmouth had that string connecting the third and the fourth quarters where they put 5 in a row in. Captains meeting in midfield. Riley Thompson for the Tigers. Dylan Schulte for the Monmouth Hawks. They head back to their huddles.
And a great play by Monmouth, too. They got their top playmaker today, Wasserman, right up to the cage with his left hand, and a lot of goal to shoot at. But Blaisdell, he's been the story today, and he was able to come up big when it mattered the most.
Overtime here at Sherrod Field on the Princeton University campus. Faceoffs 10-8 in favor of the Hawks. Sam Bonafide for the Tigers. Keegan Teluk for Monmouth. Bonifati has it for the Tigers. Sudden death overtime, 4 minutes on the clock. This one tied up at 8. And the Tigers clear it in, and Matt Madelon will take a timeout to draw it up.
And that's exactly how you draw up the face-off. You hope you win it clean, get it into the restraining box, and call the timeout and draw up your best play. That's exactly what Sam Bonifati is allowing Coach Madelon to do. A great job by the senior in winning that big draw.
We mentioned Jeremy Hirsch, the 6th defensive coordinator in as many years for the Tigers. They have some consistency back on the offensive side. Pat March came in last year, the same year as Michael Sowers, and the offense goes from 10 goals a game to nearly 15 goals a game, the second highest scoring team in the country. Well, let's see what Pat March, Matt Madelon and company draw up here as the Tigers will have the ball first in overtime.
Yeah, one thing Coach March does a great job of is putting his players in a position to succeed with their skill set. You know, he's not going to force players to play outside themselves. You know, Sowers has great vision, and he's great at coming around the goal. Where do you put him? Behind the cage. Austin Sims, he likes to get his hands free and shoot. Put him in a position where he can get it in his right hand and let it fly, and that's exactly what Pat March has done with his offensive side of the roster. As we see the offensive and defensive huddles for Princeton, and they will break with a play that I'm sure they've practiced a lot in the preseason. You always practice that play that you hope can be the last one of the game and give you the win. So we'll see how that looks.
The Tigers last year did not play an overtime game. .351 to go in overtime. Sam Bonifati with the biggest face-off win of the day for the Tigers. Princeton with the starters back out there on offense. McCarthy cycles it in. Sowers coming up at the top of the box. Tigers invert it. Sims is back at X. Sowers is up at the top. Here's Sims. Draws the pole. They do the good job keeping Pfeiffer on Sowers. Top of the box, Chris Brown, 5 points in regulation in his college debut. Hands it off, Austin Sims, the senior midfielder. Sims lets it fly. It's high over the crossbar. Back there to back it up is Sowers.
That's where Sims is at his best, sweeping at the top of the restraining box with the stick in his right hand. That time just a little high. Sowers dodges behind the cage, pick from Thompson.
Here's Sowers, carries it above, turns in, gets a good look, but fires it wide, backed up by Thompson. Austin Sims today just 1 point, 1 goal on 10 shots, and for Michael Sowers, 1 goal, 2 assists in regulation. We're in overtime here in Princeton. High pass off the stick of Brown. He's able to maintain the handle, though, and carry it out.
Very impressed with Chris Brown. It goes without saying, obviously, the shot totals, but it's the confidence that he carries himself with on the field.
Shot by Sims, bouncer, kicked wide by Noah Lodi, the freshman goaltender, out of bounds.
Sowers will take it in behind the cage.
Sudden death overtime in the season opener in the first ever meeting between Princeton and Monmouth. Sowers carries to X, jams on the brakes. One-on-one against Pfeiffer, the senior. Here's Sowers, he'll shoot off the chest of Lodi. Ball caroms out, Hawks have it with 2.5 minutes to go in overtime. Riley Thompson trying to joust it away from behind as Monmouth is able to clear it in. We'll see if they take a timeout. They will not. Brian Fisher was right by the official, but he's going to elect to play on, and now they will stop the clock and call a timeout.
Yeah, they do take the timeout. I'm sure they were just seeing if they had matchups that they thought that they could take advantage of without the timeout, but they will take it. And again, we'll see Monmouth's best play. They'll go and again dig into the playbook and pull out the play that gives them the best chance at a victory to start their 2018 campaign away from home. Not too far away from home, but away from home.
Couple of out-of-town scores. Brown falling in overtime to Quinnipiac, 12-11. Mike Fletcher with the game-winning goal for the Bobcats, and then down in Frisco, Yale and Villanova in overtime, tied up at 9. Yale, the preseason favorite in the Ivy League. 5th-ranked Bulldogs and the 15th-ranked Wildcats. And here in Princeton, another tight one. Tied up at 8 in overtime. Princeton had an opportunity off the opening face-off win. Couldn't put it in the back of the net, and now it's Monmouth discussing it in a timeout.
We'll see how they come out, but I'm thinking the names Fiegel and Wasserman will be crucial to whatever we see from the Monmouth Hawks.
Fiegel today, only 1 point, but it was a big assist, and Wasserman has a hat trick to become the all-time leading scorer in Monmouth program history. First possession of overtime for the Monmouth Hawks, who were down 7-2. It's now an 8-8 contest. Top of the box, dodging in, Dylan Schulte gets warded to the near side by Winshew, passes it off Wasserman, defended by Roberts, coming off nearly 2 years missed due to injury. Fiegel at X, working on the short stick. Fiegel turning the corner, goes high, stick side. Blaisdell makes the save. Had the matchup, didn't have the right look.
And Blaisdell, again, a big spot and a big save. He made the kind of buzzer beater save at the end of regulation. And that one to get possession back to Princeton. Princeton looks like it will clear easily.
And make it 18 saves for Tyler Blaisdell. Matches his season high from last year, now 2 shy of his career high. Princeton, a chance to end it here, tied up at 8 in overtime. McCarthy, Brown, Sims working right at the line. Robertson and Sowers down low along with Thompson as Sims dances along the restraining line. Gives it up to Riley Thompson and then gets it back.
And now Sims has the long pole matchup, as does Brown. It's Thompson with the short stick matchup.
Can't give Garrett Pfeiffer, the senior from Maryland, enough credit for what he's done against Michael Sowers today. Matched up one-on-one, the lone returning starter on defense has locked him down today, just 1 goal. Here's Brown, a 5-point day, sneaks behind, bounces it high, kick off the turf, and Sowers wins the foot race. Monmouth thought that their pole got the stick there first, but possession awarded to the Tigers. Here's Sowers. Carries it around behind the cage, stops on a dime, trying to shake his man. Pfeiffer carries it above the goal line, has the ball knocked away and turns it over. Trying to get it back, Sowers, but Monmouth has it with 23 seconds left in the first overtime.
Great help. Oh, and almost a trail check for Princeton. Monmouth retains possession.
15 seconds to go in overtime, period 1. Monmouth will carry it back out to the midfield. Hand off to Dylan Schulte. 8 seconds to go. Here comes Schulte, dodging against 2 white jerseys. They slide on him. Pass out in front. For no one in particular, the ball will die in the midfield as the first overtime period comes to a close. 8-8 the score. We will put 4 minutes back on the clock and go into overtime period number 2.
What a game, Cody. I remember in the pregame we were kind of joking. We're glad this is a 1 o'clock game, you know, to avoid the snow. I'm going to have to check the weather apps and see when the snow is coming in, and it's starting right about in an hour.
No ties in college lacrosse. Like college hockey, you play the 2 overtimes, and then if it's still tied, it ends up in a tie. Everybody gets a point, and the 2 teams part ways. Not the case in college lacrosse. Give the Monmouth Hawks a ton of credit. It was Princeton early and often, even though Monmouth had the heavy advantage throughout the first half in shots. The Hawks down by 4 for most of the first half, down by as many as 5 before they ran off 5 straight goals. It was a 7-7 contest. Monmouth has never led in this one. When it was 7-7, Chris Brown scored with 5 minutes to go in the 4th to give the Tigers the lead. And then Dan Bloodgood, the equalizer, with 3.5 minutes to go in the 4th. Sam Bonafide, and it'll be Chandler Vanderbeek out there for Monmouth. Vanderbeek 1 for 2 on faceoffs. It's been Teluk out there. He's taken 17. And for the Tigers, Sam Bonafide has taken every single one. This is faceoff number 20. 8-8 the score as we go to overtime number 2 here under overcast skies in Princeton, New Jersey. Sam Bonafide against Vanderbeek. Bonafide wins it, looks like he did to start off the first overtime. He'll get it back to Tyler Blaisdell, over to Armin Medgalci, who'll try to clear it. Blaisdell gets it back at his own line, looking near side for Thompson. Blaisdell still has it. The Tigers need to hurry. Bounce pass. Medgalci knocks it down with the number 27 on his chest. Here's Mike Marine, pass near side. McCarthy and the Tigers clear it in. Second overtime. We are tied up at 8. The Tigers with just 1 goal since the 8-minute mark of the third quarter. Tons of firepower. They had the second highest scoring offense in the nation last year.
And Cody, and coming into the game, never thought I'd say it, double overtime. Chris Brown may have the favorable matchup. He's got the short stick, and he's playing with a ton of confidence.
They try to get it to Brown. It was deflected, but Brown wins the foot race against Greer Wilson and keeps possession for the Tigers. Now Sowers has it behind the cage to our right. Sowers, one-on-one matchup against the senior Paul Pfeiffer. Trying to roll around a screen behind the cage from Thompson. Pfeiffer doesn't bite. Pass up top, Brown winds, fires, bounces it wide, and Thompson's there to back it up.
And Sowers showing confidence in the freshman as well. And Sowers will bring it in again. Again, what a job. Keep saying it, Cody, and you're so right. What a job Monmouth's done on defense, kind of keeping Sowers in check all day long.
Sowers has it, one-on-one matchup, carries it above the goal line near side, and then he'll tiptoe down below as Pfeiffer tries to poke it away. Pass out in front, bouncer! Princeton wins. Riley Thompson for Michael Sowers. We've talked about the freshman. The Tigers turn to the senior. Riley Thompson buries it in double overtime, and the Tigers win it over Monmouth.
Cody, what a game. 2 teams meeting for the first time in the regular season, and a rivalry has been born.
That was Riley Thompson's only shot of the day. It came nearly 2 minutes into the second overtime. And the Tigers, who had given up 5 of the last 6 goals to Monmouth as they came all the way back from down 5. Princeton wins it in overtime, 9-8. Dave Giancola heading down to the field to catch up with our Nissan player of the game. Thompson buries it with 2:19 to go in the second overtime. Not only his only shot of the day and his only goal of the day, it was his only point of the day. Came from Michael Sowers, his 3rd assist to go along with 1 goal. Tell you what, if this becomes a rivalry, this is a heck of a way to start it up. Princeton and Monmouth meeting for the first time ever. Princeton's been playing lacrosse for 110 seasons. This is the start of year number 5 for Brian Fisher's Monmouth Hawks. And this one took 2 extra periods to decide, but the Princeton Tigers win it by a score of 9-8. Looking at some of the final stats as we wait for the post-game interview, Monmouth out shooting the Tigers 57-36. Tyler Blaisdell 1 save shy of his season high from a year ago. He made 17 saves today. 4-year starter making his 35th consecutive start in net for the Tigers. Give Monmouth a lot of credit. Big days offensively for Wasserman with the hat trick. Hunter Jones with 2 goals. Dan Bloodgood with 2 goals as well. And the freshman in net, Noah Lodi, had a rough first half, only had 2 saves in the first half. He made 8 of them in the second half. But the Hawks fall to the Princeton Tigers 9-8. Princeton starting off with the win. The Tigers are 1-0. Monmouth in their season opener. The Hawks suffer the loss. They will head up to Wagner on Wednesday afternoon, and the Princeton Tigers the next 2 Saturdays will take on a pair of ranked opponents. Next Saturday down in Charlottesville, they'll take on the 10th ranked Virginia Cavaliers. Lars Tiffany, the longtime Brown head coach, in his second season at the helm of the Virginia program. And then it doesn't get easier after that. Princeton taking on Johns Hopkins as the Tigers finally have those two teams back on the schedule for a long time. It was Princeton taking on Virginia and Hopkins back-to-back weeks early in the season. Of course, Princeton and Virginia, a ton of history, most of it, or a good chunk of it, in the NCAA tournament. Nine to 8, the final score. The Tigers win it on the game winner in double overtime by Riley Thompson. His only shot of the day found the back of the net. It was a bouncer out in front. Dave Giancola trying to catch up with Riley Thompson, who just ran away to celebrate and stretch out with his teammates across the field in the far corner. Nine to 8, the score. The Tigers win it. Right now, let's step away. When we get back, Dave will catch up with Riley Thompson. We'll have the Hampton Inn out-of-town scoreboard and go over this one. Princeton wins it in double overtime over Monmouth. 9 to 8, the score. Back after this on the Princeton IMG Sports Network.